Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Direwolf20's 1.16 pack. Today we're building a bigger reactor and dealing with some more of our ores in a smarter way. Okay, so the plan for today is we're going to use refined storage for moving around all of our shards and stuff, because these guys are a little bit messy to use and they kind of always get jammed up waiting for these machines to process. And I think a better way of doing this, and I've actually I've turned off all the void miners by disconnecting their power. Still got the crystal miners going in the end, but we're not getting any more ores, so we can sort of work through that back stuff of ore, and then we'll know what our actual situation is. So this and these ender chests, we still want this. Kind of still want all of these ores that are going to be coming in. We're going to be doing it slightly differently. Yeah, this injecting factory is coming with me, and we're not going to be doing it the way it had been working. And instead we're going to set up all these injecting factories in like a line around here. So they've got full upgrades. I'm going to say output out the front. I think they might have all been outputting out the front anyway. Output out the front, these are the two new ones. Outputting out the front. Then we can also kind of condense this whole situation a bit as well. So if we had this ultimate pressurized tube, that's how this is going to be working. These guys are all getting the hydrogen chloride. Perfect. I just realized I'm still kind of missing a face. I guess we'll do power underneath. Something like that. So these guys all get power. We're going to be... I guess we could just import the ores. No, we'll use the ender chest system that we had going. So if we put this, say, here, is this going to import automatically? Input. No, you're not going to do that. Okay, that's cool. So we want some way of importing. So we're going to... could just import straight from the system our ores instead of using ender chests at all. Might be better. Because it's kind of an unnecessary step thinking about it. Obviously there's a bit of duplication with setting up what has to go in each one of these. That's okay. And then we want some exporters. And then we just need a front storage cable. That can go something like that. Now we're going to need a bunch of stack upgrades. So if these could export a stack at a time. Oh, they can't. Is that as fast as you eject? That's horrible. So he's not actually doing stacks. Okay, so we don't want to do that then. That seems bad. Okay, maybe we don't want this here. Maybe do the importers on the front then. Exporters, export from the system. And if we had a stack upgrade in here, it's much better. And probably just one speed upgrade. I'll get a couple, because we might end up with situations where we don't just have stacks. Okay, cool. So stack upgrade, speed upgrades. I think we want logistical transporters though. And a chest here. There we go. You're not... Oh, your eject was off. So that's working pretty good. And then if we had an importer, to import into the system. And I mean, this needs a stack upgrade. And yeah. There we go. We're importing all of our shards in. It's going to take a while to catch up on all that ore. Oh, because you're only importing tin. Okay, so that might be all the tin ore gone. Nice. Okay, we also want gold. And each of these guys. So this is going to be working pretty good. Split on, I guess, for all these guys. It looks like we're just processing uranium now. Did we finish all the other ores? Undergarden iron ore looks like we're not processing. Which makes me think maybe I should have made these advanced exporters. Cool. Make sure you grab him. Let's just get a chest. And I did this in FTB University actually. Because we might want to set more of these filters, it'll pay to keep in this chest one of each of the ores that we process. I feel like we're missing a couple. Just because, yeah, when I set up the next one, I might not have any ores in the system to set up to go through. That's cool. And then what we can do is just import all the shards into these lines of machines. And that's going to keep them a bit tidier as well. Yeah, like we've done away with a big section of... this doesn't need to be here anymore either. Uranium crystals we need to be importing into these guys. So I think we want advanced importers for this stuff. Because we're going to have... Oh no, we'll have less because this ore turns into this one as well. We might be right with just exporters. But we certainly need to hook. Let's move this. And how we can actually do away with a flux point here. Have this like that. We can have an importer on this guy. And if you were to export out the top, nice. Actually, no, a stack upgrade is unnecessary there. Because I don't think that machine processes all that fast, so we'll just get a couple of speed upgrades. And yeah, that extracts faster than this machine runs, and it has full speed and power upgrades. Cool. Then we're going to need to run exporters. So I think we need a bunch of these. Let's just get 30. Because we're going to export from the system all the shards that are coming out of this setup and just export it into these machines. Actually, we're probably going to export into a chest. Or did we figure out that... No, we can export stacks at a time. I think we've caught up on our ore processing too. Nice. And just repeat this process for all of these guys. And these guys should be away. Nice. Perfect. And I'm going to wait for these shards to disappear. Yeah, and then we can kind of start all our void miners up again. And see where things are actually at. Give us a better idea of what's going on. Yeah, I think that's a better situation than what we had before. We can make it a bit tidier too. We could use like our quantum entanglepers and entangler porters to get rid of having to have these big cables as well, because they don't look that nice. These guys look like they're kind of handling it. Plenty of chlorine and hydrogen. And of course these guys have actually stopped processing because we ran into ore, so we're just going to let these guys deal with the shards. And I think it's time to deal with our nuclear reactor. I'm going to look up the maximum dimensions of one of these guys, and we may as well build a big one, I guess. Eventually the steam turbine's not going to keep up, but let's see what happens. Okay, so apparently the biggest size you can make the Mekanisim Fission Reactor is 18 by 18. Now, do we need a reactor this big? Probably not. Probably not even for how much ore processing we're ever going to do. And supposedly it also needs 3 steam turbines to run it. Well, it needs 3 steam turbines to process all the steam that will come out. I suspect it's probably a bigger steam turbine than what we've got as well. I'm just producing a bunch of fission reactor casings. We should have the stuff. I might have to turn the ore miners back on. We're getting some. We're getting some. Oh, wrong stuff. My plan will be to run this at a very low burn rate for a start. 18. That's how tall. Which is fairly large, to be honest. Totally unnecessary. I mean, that's kind of what we're going for at the moment. It's completely unnecessary ore production. Oh, I don't want that there. Okay, so this is going to be how big it is. Going for a slight pattern rather than just having just glass, I think would look a little bit silly. So we'll try this. I may or may not have enough casings. I think something like that will look okay. Because I feel like all glass is a little bit unrealistic. I mean, I guess the entire thing's unrealistic, but yeah, you know what I mean. So probably some more casings. Actually, we might need more than that. Let's just get that many. Should be more than we need, but we still had this line here to do. Now, fission reactor ports. I might get a couple of these, just because I really don't want this guy to run out of water. And this should hopefully be enough. Should be good, right? So 1, I don't know, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we'll go with 4. Might look better. Of course, they don't need to be that far apart, but that's just how I'm doing it. Some more casings. And unless I've made this the wrong size, which is entirely possible, this should form as a multi-block. It did not. Because I'm missing a couple of blocks. Ooh. I think I need control rods and stuff inside it before it will actually work. Yes, I don't know how many of these control rods I actually want either. I mean, it's going to look silly, but let's go with the fission control rod assembly. Now, why is this not forming yet? You watch yourself, mate. Why is this not forming as a multi-block? Did I make it the wrong size? Oh, there we go. I guess just building it with the builder is not the best idea. So we definitely want to change the burn rate to be... Can we go that low? We'll go 0.01. He's got a little bit of water inside him. So we got these sinks. And it might be entirely possible that one sink is enough to keep this guy full, but I don't really want to take that risk. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we got this control rod here, right? Mech rod. We need these control rod assemblies, and I forget what the other thing's called. Fission fuel assembly. These can be stacked on top of each other, so we need to teach these recipes. We're going to want a few. It's pretty big. I think we could turn this guy on. I think we could turn this guy on. Yeah. And I think he's still only going to make the same amount of power he did before. So we're the burn rate of 3. Should be producing, should get up to about 150,000 RF a tick. I don't think there's any difference with the size of it, other than the fact you can fit more control rods in it. And maybe how long it takes for it to get up to temperature. Because we're at the maximum burn rate, yeah. Oh, we got our fission fuel assemblies. And control rods. So we'll turn this guy off. Scram. And of course, yeah. It's not like there'd be water going everywhere. And we should be able to do something like this. Now, I don't know if there's actually anything to do with cooling, like requiring water the whole way around, but this should be fine. And I guess we could do one in each corner. Just for a start. It'd be interesting to see if our steam turbine can handle it. We may need to upgrade him as well. Luckily this is disabled. We definitely need to turn the burn rate down. I'm a little bit concerned that that this is a really bad idea. Let's turn you on. So you're on with a really low burn rate. Producing hardly any steam. But, you know, significantly more than we were. Let's try increasing it by that much. Interesting. Like, can we just turn our burn rate up more then? We're kind of getting the same amount of power we were. It seems like our temperature is not that high. Max burn rate. Oh, 60 millibuckets a tick. Okay, there we go, there we go. I was thinking we could only go to 3. That makes sense. So we can go, so this is how much we were making before. So this should make about 154,000 RF a tick. Okay, I get it. So this, so the burn rate, yeah, so we're using the same amount of fuel that we were using before, but now we can use like significantly more. So let's go to, I don't know, 4. And eventually we're going to be using fossil fuel faster than we're making it. Now we're getting 200,000 RF a tick. Let's have a look over here. Power's still going down, interestingly. Are we still processing our... These guys are finished. What's using all the power? It could be just our electrolyzers. Could just be our electrolyzers using a bunch of power. Oh, 400,000 RF a tick running these electrolyzers. Alright. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I guess we turn this guy up even more then. I do wonder if eventually we're going to run into the limit of how much steam that pipe can transfer. But is a possibility. Making 300,000 AF attack, so we're almost running our electrolyzers. And steam's, yeah, looks like we're fine. Let's go up even more. 400,000. So this is breaking even in terms of just our electrolyzers that are being used to, I suppose they're just used for ore processing, so they will eventually back stuff. I mean, this looks fine to me. Let's bump it up some more then. Oh, and we can dump excess steam. I forgot that was a thing. We should definitely have that on. And we're making 600,000 RF attack. Oh, well, I guess we bump it up more. Oh. What was that? Something just happened. Let's go for 15. Let's turn them up. Maybe not 30. That's probably a bad idea. Because, yeah, I don't know if... A little bit nervous by the amount of steam that was in there. So in theory, we're about just on half what this turbine can handle. Yeah, the maximum flow is 800,000 millibuckets a tick of steam, and we're currently transporting just under 400,000. And our water's going down. So we need more sinks. Interesting. Let's stop you. Okay, so that's too much for our sinks to handle. Cool. Let's get some more reactor ports. Now maybe we could have started looking at sending some of the steam back into the reactor. I mean, we could do that, right? Like if we had one of these ports, say, and this guy's off, yes. If we had some of these, more of these mechanical pipes. Because in theory, we shouldn't lose any water. And we want to make sure that this guy only inputs. And actually, if we turn this on now, we're still losing water. If we don't dump, don't dump excess. We're still losing water. Okay. Does this help? Yes. Right. So we were at the limit of how much a sink could input. Cool. That's pretty cool. Because they transfer quite a bit. We got another 5 sinks. That would look nicer. Cool. Right, I suspect... Wait, is this guy on? Oh, whoops, this guy's on. Just working on a running nuclear reactor. It's fine. So, in theory, if we're at about half, we could double how much our burn rate is. Let's go to 30. 30 is concerning for me. 30 looks like it might be pushing it. I mean, 30 looks okay. 1.5 million RF a tick. Nice. Let's leave it at that for a bit. I'm definitely not going to AFK with that running. I suspect if that reactor melts down, that's going to be bad. Oh, and this guy was actually getting power. Maybe because we're at the limit of what this guy can input. Interesting. Maybe because we're at the limit of what this guy can take in. That would make sense. We need some of these induction ports. It's induction cell, induction provider. We need more. Yes, we can only input because we've only got one of these. Right. That makes sense. We need a bigger induction provider. So use one of them. It looks like we know how to make that. Couple of these providers. That's a lot, but yeah, a couple of providers. That'll be 2 trillion RF a tick we can input into the battery. Because the problem is we can't input enough into this guy. Cool. Well, I think it's time to hook the void miners back up. I think they can be running now. The next thing we have to worry about is these guys ending up with too much polonium. Or these guys are backing up with nuclear waste now. We might have to set up something so he doesn't run during the night. Because we really don't want that to happen. And I think there was a redstone control. A block that can be used to monitor or control the fission reactor with redstone. Yes. We'll whip up one of them, we'll hook it up to like a daylight sensor, so that when it's nighttime this guy turns off. Because yeah, we don't want... Nice. We don't want... is this guy importing? Yes. We don't want these guys getting full with nuclear waste, and then the nuclear waste just not going anywhere. And then we might need to start worrying about what we do with all of this. I mean, none of these are... Some of these got polonium in them, actually, which is annoying. But I'm not going to break them, because if I do, that'll be a problem. Ore processing is sorted, and our reactor is a lot bigger. That's cool. Alright guys, we have a ridiculously large fission reactor. Despite the fact that it looks so big, it's actually not as... We're not taking full advantage of it. Once we get more control rods and like the fuel rod assemblies inside of it, then we can actually begin to push how much power we're getting. But we're getting like 1.5 million RF a tick. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, steam turbine's going to be the next holdup. We're probably going to have to make the biggest one of them, and supposedly it's about 3 full-size steam turbines to 1 full-size reactor, supposedly. And there was something about boilers as well. I don't know, I only half googled it a little bit. And a bunch of radioactive waste barrels to deal with all these byproducts that we're going to be generating. And hopefully we don't destroy the colony. I don't know what a full-sized reactor meltdown looks like. I guess we might find out. Hey, it's been ClassicDuff. You've been watching the episode. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.